In 2010, VFX artists at ILM faced a huge task of making a digital monster, a mechanical beast known as the driller. With over 70,000 individual parts, making it the most complex 3D model ILM had ever attempted at the time. The driller wasn't just difficult to build, it was nearly impossible to rig and animate. It was a tentacle that had tentacles. It had to rotate, drill, and move through buildings while making it look smooth and realistic. So they had to think outside of the box to make it work. So how exactly did ILM manage to bring the CGI monster to life? And how did the driller redefine the limits of large-scale creature VFX forever? Before starting to model and animate the driller, first, it had to go through the design process that began with extensive concept art exploration. ILM and collaborating concept artists envisioned the driller as a serpentine, eel-like mechanical beast with rotating blades, spiked tentacles, and gnashing teeth. On a side note, early concept paintings depicted Shockwave, the Decepticon controlling the driller, piloting it from an internal cockpit, emphasizing the creature's scale and machine-like nature. Generally speaking, design inspiration for the driller actually drew from both natural and existing Transformers lore. The artist took cues from real-life creatures like eels, snakes, and even squids to imagine how a multi-tentacle robot might move and attack, which was really important later on. Once the design was approved, ILM's 3D modelers began the process of 3D modeling the driller. And let me tell you, this is a task that became legendary for its complexity. The final driller digital model consisted of a staggering 70,051 individual parts, making it by far the densest and most intricate asset in ILM's history up to that point. By contrast, Optimus Prime's model had about 10,000 parts, meaning the driller had about 7 times the components of the lead Autobot. In fact, the driller broke ILM's previous record for model complexity by more than 2.5 times. Modeling such a beast was a real challenge. A single lead modeler, an ILM artist called Rene Garcia, spent 6 months painstakingly building the driller's digital geometry. The creature was modeled as a repeating ring-like segments, forming an elongated body with multiple tentacles branching off. Each segment was packed with mechanical details, from wearing saw blade rims to interlocking teeth and hydraulic components, giving the driller, as you might expect, a gnashing, gear-like anatomy along its entire length. The team actually did a smart thing. They ensured that the modular segments could be instanced and varied, which helped manage the immense complexity, while allowing the driller's body to flex and coil convincingly. And here is a fun fact. The asset was so heavy that only a few ILM artists with the most powerful workstations could even open the driller scene once the full model, in addition to the skyscraper environments, was assembled. And those who could load it sometimes waited nearly an hour just for the files to open before they could begin working. This gives a sense of enormous digital weight of the creature. ILM's machines were pushed to their limits to handle the driller's geometry and rigs. So to build the model, ILM relied on a standard high-end modeling pipeline, primarily Autodesk Maya for modeling, in addition to assembly, supplemented with tools like ZBrush for any sculpted details. And all of this happened within ILM's proprietary asset management framework called Xeno Pipeline. And by the way, the pipeline also supported Softimage, though Maya had become a mainstream software for modeling at the beginning around those years. In addition, dozens of detailed texture maps were painted to give every part of the driller believable materials. The final model size was as colossal as its part count. According to the effects team, the driller's full body length measured roughly 3 football fields, which is around 1,000 feet in virtual scale. Building a model of that size with fine details at every inch was actually a feat in of itself. But believe it or not, this wasn't the difficult part. The most difficult and complex part was rigging and animation. Rigging the driller posed unique technical challenges, and here is why. The rigging team had to give animators intuitive control over a multi-hundred-foot, snake-like body composed of tens of thousands of pieces, while also enabling specific mechanical behaviors, like spinning saw blade rings that had to function automatically. ILM approached this by creating hierarchical rigs. The driller's main body was rigged with a spine-based control system, a bit like a giant snake or tentacle rig, allowing it to bend, coil, and undulate through the environment. Each of the driller's tentacles, which themselves resemble smaller worms, was rigged similarly, attached to the main body, and able to move independently, so the creature could lash out in multiple directions. And if you think about it, this was actually mind-blowing. The sheer number of segments on joints meant the rig contained thousands of control points, and ILM had to optimize the rig to remain usable in the animation, despite the driller's complexity. One clever solution for rigging was to incorporate procedural rotation controls for the driller's rings and bladed parts. As Faraz said, a supervisor on the project, the hard part in rigging him is allowing the rings on his body and tentacles to spin as he moves across the ground or through a building. The rigger set up automated expressions so that when the driller slithers forward, dozens of ring segments along with its body rotate in unison, as if the creature's body segments are drilling and gripping surfaces, which I think makes sense. But animators could still fine-tune or override these automated motions. But generally speaking, such rig features saved enormous time and made believable locomotion possible without animating every gear by hand. Animating the driller was the aim behind rigging it in the first place. It was actually as challenging as building it, if not more. The driller had no spoken lines or humanoid features. Its character had to come through its movement style, because animators wanted to convey its predatory, animalistic intelligence only through body language, which I think is one of the hardest parts of being an animator. You see, just like the design was inspired by animals, animators took inspiration from footage of large snakes, worms, and octopuses, observing how such creatures coil, strike, and constrict prey. They also looked into cinematic monsters, for example, the sandworm of doom, or even some aquatic creatures, to infuse the driller with a sense of weight and menace. As one VFX artist said, tentacles are one of the harder aspects to get right, especially in animation, and the driller was essentially a tentacle made of tentacles, which can screw with your mind if you are an animator. Here's the thing. To animate huge objects, the scale was a constant consideration, because the driller was several times larger than most transformers. Its motion had to feel appropriately massive. The team animated the creature with a sense of weight and momentum. For instance, before whipping a tentacle or changing direction, the driller's body mass would briefly gather and then release, imbuing it with a heavy, inertia-based quality. You might know already that this character was actually keyframe animated, so keyframes were carefully spaced to avoid any quick and snappy movements, which might betray the scale. In fact, ILM sometimes animated in slow motion for certain shots, then played them at normal speed to make the motion extra smooth and hefty. This technique helped the audience register its enormous size. Debris and cars can be pulled along to appear comparatively tiny against its bulk, and the driller doesn't vibrate or jitter, especially when it moves quickly, so that was necessary to make it look realistic. Another challenge was maintaining control over so many moving pieces. ILM's animators generally hand animated the driller's main motions, rather than relying on full physics simulation, and generally speaking I think they did this to make every movement look intentional. They animated the creature's path, for example, slithering up a building, coiling around it, and then snapping it in half. Using Maya's animation tools on the custom rig, once the broad movements were done, additional layers of animation passes actually added details, like tentacle tips writhing, jaw components opening and closing, and those spinning blades accelerating or decelerating as needed. Dozens of animators worked on various shots of the driller over many months, and animation itself took longer than modeling did, simply due to the driller's complexity and the iterations required to get its performance right. But to make this creature look realistic, its environment had to look realistic too. And this is where simulation and destruction come into play. In the movie, the driller wraps around the skyscraper, ripping through its structure. ILM combined hand animation of the driller with extensive procedural destruction simulations of glass, metal, and debris to bring this sequence to life. One of the most impressive aspects of the driller sequence is how the creature interacts with its environment. We can mention demolishing a high-rise office building, and to achieve this, ILM used a two-step process: animate it first, then simulate destruction. The animation team would position and move the driller through the building, and then destroy the sections of the building where it was placed. They began by constructing a detailed CG model, of the skyscraper, matching the real Chicago building used in photography. In fact, ILM developed new tools to create an entire 3D cityscape from thousands of photographs. And here is another cool fact. The specific building the driller attacks was modeled with all its structural components, like steel framework, concrete floors, glass windows, interior props, etc. This provided a high-fidelity digital structure that could be blown apart in simulation. Next came the destruction simulation, which were among the most complex ever attempted by ILM at the time. The effects team essentially had to choreograph a building collapse in sync with the driller's animation. They broke the task into many layers of animation and simulation, each focusing on a different material or effect. This involved doing many simulations, like breaking glass, metal, cables, beams, smoke, fire, sparks, concrete, dust, and liquids. And if you think about it, this was just incredible. In other words, every aspect of the building and every resulting effect was simulated separately and then combined. And at the end, the combination of all of that created one of the most amazing CGI sequences in film history. Because honestly, it looks just impressive. And the work that VFX artists did was even more impressive. And there you have it, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want more content like this, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.